Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Monica. I post anti-MLM content and some life content. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a reactions video because when I posted my retail horror stories video, a lot of you actually commented your own retail horror stories. So I feel as though I need to address these particular comments. It might sound dramatic to some people, but the stories that you told me, I'm not surprised. Two, I feel as though the general public, I guess you can say, just does not understand how some things unfold in the retail and food service industry. Now, I'm not saying that retail associates or servers or hostesses or bartenders have it worse off than other people. And I know that this isn't the worst field to be in, but in my opinion, it is one of the worst to be in, especially around the holidays. Let's get into some of these comments that you guys left me, because when I was reading these, some of them were pretty intense, but I was not surprised, which is sad that I was not surprised. So there was this comment that said, I used to work in fast food and service. I could not even tell you the amount of attitude. I once had a lady purposely order her burger with incorrect condiments only to come back in and flip out. We also had a chick off her meds start throwing things. An old man walked around the counter, a lady threw her custard at our window, drunk people, high people, people creeping in the parking lot, watching bad things on the Wi-Fi. Retail is so fun, ... I am not surprised at that, because that is something that I feel is more common than not in this particular industry. That's gonna sound kind of dramatic to people who have never worked in this industry before, but I'm really not shocked. So I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. That's just, it's so wrong. Now, this next comment is actually from one of you who watches all of my videos. You are patrons, so thank you so much. So the comment, the first part of this comment is something that I think I mentioned in my last retail horror stories video, but I'm gonna basically re-say all of this. I think that everyone should not only work retail for a month, I think that everyone should work in any type of customer service for a month. The amount of people that expect workers to bend the rules or make exceptions for them and risk their jobs absolutely blows my mind. How do so many people not understand that the employees don't make the rules? I shop a lot at Sam's Club, and the same guy has been a greeter there for years. Up until a few months ago, the greeters didn't have to check your Sam's card on the way in, but the rules changed, and now this sweet man has to check every card on the person's way in. He doesn't have to actually take the card and inspect it. You just have to flash it at him, so there is literally minimal inconvenience to the customer, which Costco has been doing this for a very long time, just FYI. Over the past few months, I have watched this man get berated every single time that I have entered the store by someone who argues with him as to why they shouldn't have to show their card because they haven't had to in 5 years. I watched this guy nicely explain the rule change with a smile on his face while people huff and puff while pulling out their cards, and some outright refuse. If this is happening every time that I enter the store, imagine how many times a day this man has to deal with this. How hard is it just to pull out your card and flash it on your way in the door? People actually want him to put his job on the line just so that they don't have to reach into their pocket and pull out a card. As if this man was sitting at the board meeting and made this decision himself. The entitlement of people is absolutely infuriating. I guarantee you that if any of these people had the same job, that they wouldn't just be saying, F it, I'm not checking cards. They would be doing their job just like this guy is. It gets me heated just thinking about it. Girl, it gets me heated just thinking about that too, because Costco has been doing this for, I mean, my mom's been shopping, or my parents have been shopping at Costco since we moved to that particular area in Jersey. I forget how old I was, but I remember going to Costco at a very young age. They've been doing that ever since my parents got their membership. So to hear something like this, if it's just, he's doing his job. It's just like she said in the comment, he wasn't at the board meeting. He didn't make this decision. This came from corporate, and he just has to abide by the rules. Now, of course, yeah, if you've been shopping at Sam's Club for a while and you never had to show your card and all of a sudden you have to show your card, yeah, I do understand it is inconvenient because it's not readily available. You have to dig into your purse or your wallet and grab the card and da-da-da-da-da. I totally get it. But he's doing his job. So just remember that. He's just doing his job. He's doing what he was told. That is what he gets paid to do. Now we have another comment. I worked in clothing retail for 2 years. It's amazing what people will try to return. Dirty undergarments with the tag reattached, items from the previous year's seasonal collection, insisting they just bought it, empty cosmetics, the list goes on. So just to kind of add something into this, because I've seen some crazy things in retail, as you guys obviously, if you watch my last video, you know. When I worked at a particular department store, I think I've talked about it here on this channel before. I'm not going to say the name. I think I actually said it in that video, so I should probably bleep that out. But I worked at this particular department store, and you work on commission. And it was in a really bougie mall in New Jersey. If you're from New Jersey, you probably know that Short Hills is very bougie. So I'm talking about that mall in particular. I love that mall. I think it's so pretty. I love seeing all the designer stores, even though I can't afford it. I used to just walk in there and grab a coffee and just walk around and look at stuff because it was so pretty to me. But anyway, so I worked at one of the well-known department stores in that particular mall. The crazy part is the department store that I worked at, now I had never shopped there before, so I didn't know that this was actually a thing. They did not have a return policy. There was like a very small return policy, but it was you could bend the rules a lot, especially because as long as they had the tag, because you have to attach, there's like a sticker that you attach. I don't know if it's still the same. I haven't worked there since 2012, so I don't know if it's still the same. But you had to grab a sticker, you scan the sticker, and you put the sticker on the back of the tag, and that was their receipt. So if someone came in with no receipt, but they had the tag, you can easily scan that sticker, and it'll bring up the entire receipt. I hated working there because, like I said before, it was on commission, and people were very, very like cutthroat with sales, and they would steal people from you and they would get the sale, or you know, you would come in at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and you would come into you being in the negatives because someone returned their entire order and it was like $1,000 worth of stuff. So here you are starting off with the negative. Now, not only do you have to work to make your commission for the day, but you also have to work back that $1,000+ that was returned. We had a woman come in. We had gotten like a call on the little headset thing saying that this particular person has stolen from the department store before. They have video footage of her stealing. They have video footage of her returning pieces that were not actually bought by her. Somehow she got the stickers from, I don't know if she got it from, I don't know how she did it, but scam artist basically. She had come in and she was coming to my department. Now I worked in the dresses department, so that was a mix of the evening gowns and the really super fancy dresses, along with just casual everyday dresses that people would buy. Well, she came in and they radioed and said, hey, this person's coming to the dress department. Please call a manager over as soon as this person approaches the counter. Well, the dress, judging by the style, now, it's very easy to spot certain things when you work in retail for a really long time and when you're in that environment for a really long time. And if you follow fashion, you kind of know what was trendy at what time. Well, this dress was, I want to say from the early 2000s, it was that type of style, maybe even late 90s, but it was one of those super old dresses and it had a tag. So she was trying to return the dress. Well, I called over my manager. I honestly have no idea what happened. I know that she caused a scene, and I know that, I don't know if they actually returned the dress or what happened, because I was already leaving for the night. So I was like, well, I'm leaving for the night because I want nothing to do with this. She's a scam artist and she's super sketchy. So I want nothing to do with it. So there are things like that that happen. Just to add to, sorry, a customer came in, so I actually had to cut the video, so I don't even know if I'm positioned the same way that I was before. But anyway, just to add to that particular story, this dress was soiled to a whole nother level. Like this woman had to have worn this dress for years before she even washed it, or she never washed it. It was so gross though. And when I read that comment about the undergarments, I know that it's not even near as bad, like the used undergarments, but it was so disgusting, so disgusting. The next comment that I wanted to go over is, many years ago, I worked stock for a major retailer. That's where I met my wife. Congratulations. People can be major a-holes. If it's out of stock, don't blame us, we can't get it. Also, I don't care if the salesman said you can fit the TV in your Honda, it won't fit. Forgot to add, working midnights and afternoon/midnight shift, I am always extra nice to the people working, I can't talk today, to the people working those hours when they are working during the holidays. So this is actually, I've been on both sides of this. I've been on the salesperson side, and I've also been on the the stock employee, or not really stock, but on the other end of this particular thing. And this happens a lot. A lot of times people blame the person that is telling you it won't fit in your car, or you can't do something even though the salesperson told you something. But okay. Next comment. I once had a customer come into my store without receipts, so I said I could do a return without the receipt. She didn't have her ID, and when I said I couldn't, without a form of ID, she rolled her eyes and started saying how unorganized the store was for some reason. I mean, yeah, the store didn't look the best that day because we were having a sale. She left to get her ID, and when she came back, I did the whole process explaining to her she'll get money back in either a gift card or store credit, and it will only be the amount we are now selling her item for. She was like, whatever, so I scanned her item after putting in her info, and it came up as past discard. I scanned it with my handheld, and it said the same, and also that we stopped getting that particular item in 2008. I called for my manager, which pisses her off. The manager explains the same thing to her. This B had the nerve to say, well, my receipt doesn't say so. She pulls out this receipt that was from another store and from, like I said, 2008. This is actually, just so that anyone watching this who hasn't worked in retail, the whole getting your ID and returning at the price that's at the store currently is not uncommon. This is very common in a lot of places that I worked in retail. This next comment really pissed me off a lot because I actually have a story before I go into this as well. If you guys watched my last video, you know that the woman that threw the shoes at me, she called me like dumb and how I should go to school and get an education and everything of that nature. I cannot stand when people do that, when they think that the retail associate you're talking to is either stupid or that they didn't go to college or further their education. Regardless of if you furthered your education or not, that's not what I'm trying to get at here, but the fact that people just assume that if you don't have a college education or that you work in retail, you don't have an education behind you, that you're just dumb or that you're stupid. And that's what bothers me about this particular comment, because there was a time when I was going to school for my master's. I was working at a retail store. This person was waiting in line, and I was a supervisor at the Was I a supervisor at this time? Yes, I was a supervisor at this time. So there was a giant line, and I called one of the other supervisors because the policy was that you always had to have a supervisor or a manager behind the counter that wasn't on register, so that they could take care of the other things that the managers have to do, like if there's a problem or something like that. So I saw that there was a line. I called my manager up and I hopped on the register real quick. And there was this person that was in line. I had gone to elementary school with her and high school with her. I never really liked her. There was always some weird tension. We at one point had mutual friends, and we just, I don't know, there was something about her that I just got a bad vibe, and I know that she didn't like me for whatever reason. Nothing was ever said, nothing bad ever happened, but it was just one of those things, like, you know when you get a vibe from someone and you know that it's not really your type of person, but you're civil because you're just trying to be nice. It was one of those situations. She was waiting in line. She came to my register, and so I was nice to her, and I was like, oh, hey, how have you been doing? You know, how is life after school, blah, blah, blah. because I knew that I think she went to a good school, a good college. So, you know, just catching up. This had the audacity to tell me about her really amazing job, which I don't care about that. She had the audacity to scoff at me and be like, at least I'm not working in retail though, so obviously you're not doing that well. I was like, well, actually, I'm going to school for my master's, and this is just an extra job that I have on the side so that I can pay to go to school. And the rest of the whole like experience of ringing her up and stuff, I was crossing my fingers and hoping that her card would be declined just so I could be like, oh, your card's declined, just to be petty. But it didn't happen, unfortunately. But well, I mean, not unfortunately, I would feel really bad, but at the point in time, I was just so agitated. But anyway, to go back to this particular comment that really pissed me off. I had a drunk guy tell me I'm not smart because of where I work. Later, he hit on many of our minor employees, kicked him out, people are dumb. So I don't know where this person worked at. No one should ever be treated like this. And the fact that this person said that she wasn't smart because of where she worked. Let's just say for the sake of this video that this person, she worked at a bar. Do y'all know how much bartenders make in tips if they're working at a really good club or if they're working at a really good bar? I had friends that were bartenders. Those people were making bank. Yes, the job sucks. You have to be a therapist for literally every single person that walks in who was just dumped by their boyfriend or just dumped by their girlfriend or who's going through some tough times. But these people, y'all, they make some good money if they're at a good bar or a good club. So, and also, I just have to give props to them. I could never be a bartender. I wouldn't be able to do it because there is just so much more that goes into being a bartender than just making drinks for people. Like I said before, you literally have to be a therapist to every single person that comes in. You have to deal with drunk people. You have to deal with the fun drunk people, but you also have to deal with the drunk people who are really violent or who are breaking things. And, you know, or even if you're a female bartender, it can be dangerous for you too. And of course you're gonna get hit on by people, but just the fact, actually, you know what? I don't think that this person probably worked at a bar because if there were minors working there, I think you have to be 18 to be a bartender. I don't know if it's still the same, but when I was working in food service, you had to be at least 18 to be a bartender. So this place is obviously not like a bar. I wanted to put that little spiel in there for my, you know, bartender friends or subscribers out there because y'all do a lot of stuff too. Next comment. I've only ever worked in fast food, but retail absolutely terrifies me. Most of my personal horror stories are related to cleaning toilets and that sort of thing, but I infinitely prefer that to the terrible people my sister told me about when she worked at Walmart. That isn't to say I didn't have any bad customers, but it's so much worse in retail and I salute anyone who's had to deal with it. Okay, just to say something about this comment, I have clean toilets too, and anyone out there who has clean toilets or bathrooms, please let me know in the comments below, has the same experience been for you that the women's bathroom is 10 times dirtier than the men's bathroom? I don't know what these women are doing when they go in this bathroom, but it was disgusting. Every single time that I went to clean bathrooms, the women's bathroom was always 10 times worse than the men's bathroom. Maybe that's just me, but that's my experience. Another comment that I had, just to kind of have a little bit of positivity in this video, was someone who said, I work at home by myself, not an MLM, good job. And I like to listen to your videos while I'm working, makes me feel like I'm chatting with a coworker. Thanks for being my friend at work. You're welcome, you're so sweet. That actually made me laugh because I feel like when I talk to the camera, even though there's nobody here, I feel as though I'm actually talking to all of you, and that's why I try to interact as much as I can in the comment section, because I feel as though that kind of keeps the conversation going with some of you. And you know, it's also, I love you guys for coming here all the time, and I love you guys for always watching my videos, because it really truly means a lot to me. I didn't think that this channel was going to be anything. I was really only planning on uploading one video after my like 2-year hiatus, well, almost 2-year hiatus of not being on YouTube. But it turned into something else. So I really truly am so happy for all of you, and I love seeing all the positive comments that you guys leave me as well. The last and final comment I wanted to go over was one that really broke my heart when I read it, because I have been in this person's shoes before, so I totally understand how she was feeling. But let's just get into the comment. I work in retail. I'm a cashier at a health food store. Last week, it was just customer after customer over things I can't control, and I had only like 2 hours of sleep and had been having fainting spells that day. Basically, a guy that's a regular raised his voice at me. A few minutes later, I broke down crying at my register in front of like 6 customers. My supervisor had to jump on for me. I was so embarrassed. Just to give you guys an update, she is okay, because I did ask her, and she said, "Thank you, I've been feeling better, but it was crazy because I had basically just returned from a mental health break of 4 days off. 2 days later there, I was weeping at the register. I have had a lot going on and was just like, is it worth it? Screaming at people and making them feel more like crap." Now, I wanted to end this video off with, this video is just to kind of show people out there that what you say to someone in retail, it does hurt sometimes. Certain things that are said, they do hurt. And if you have customer, you might think in your head like, oh, well, it's just me, I'm one customer, so they're getting yelled at by one person. No, they're getting yelled at by multiple people in a day, and we are not your human punching bags. I feel like when you work in retail or food service or bartending or anything like that, you are a human punching bag for some people, and it's not fair. There are a lot of things that are out of our control. So I just wanted to bring light to some of your guys' stories, and that I understand, and I'm not shocked at the stories you told me. It's really sad that I have to sit here and say I am not shocked at those stories. So I just wanted to say, if you have watched up to here, if you have another horror story that you want to leave in the comment section below, I might do another reactions video if I get enough, but that's just all I wanted to talk about in today's video. If you have watched up to here, thank you so much for watching. This is Monica reporting to you live from a highway.